Hi guys! Jake and Marisa, back again for more live reactions to
Kaitou, Sentai, Lupinranger!
This is Keisatsu, Sentai, Patranger. Alright, so, we are fresh off the 6th anniversary of Power Reviews. Episode 86 is still in progress, but editing's coming along. Obviously, I took a little bit of a break from that to produce the Conversations in Context video, to try and do something new for the anniversary. So far, reactions have all been positive, so I'm really happy about that, because it was something outside of the norm.
For certain definitions of positive.
Everybody seemed to like the video. And yeah, we have multiple different opinions on there, which is good for discussion. I don't expect everyone to agree with everything being said.
You are a better person than I am.
Well, it's one of the reasons,
I am an angry person.
It's one of the reasons I call it Conversations in Context, because I am trying to stir
Yes.
conversations and find common ground where possible.
You are much more patient and able to carry on these kinds of conversations than I am.
Well, they're also fairly brief so far, so it doesn't take too much. But anyway, so yeah, I think that was a pretty successful first test run with that. I'm not sure when I'll be doing another one of those.
I really did. And that one commenter who pointed out that it really is a thing that bad guys turn into rubber suits if they're going to die.
Oh yeah,
and rubber suits turn into people if they're going to go good.
There's pretty much been only one exception to turning into a rubber suit before being destroyed. And do you know who that was?
Who was that?
Deckard. That was what made it so jarring when it happened.
Yeah, and then he turned out to be a murderer. IRL.
Yeah, there's also that. Anyway, getting away from all that,
so this is what happens when you don't turn them into rubber suits before you kill them.
I feel like that's a level of real world context we don't need to get into right now. But yeah, I'll keep in mind, you know, the discussion from this time, and I'll try and keep replying, and you know, hopefully have.
Yeah, you've been much more active in the comments than you usually.
Well, I specifically stated in that video,
and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and do that.
I'm usually the one who ends up replying to comments in our videos.
I'm terrible about replying.
But you're really bringing it on that particular one. So
yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
For
it's
staying on top of the comments.
It's a you know, bit of anxious discomfort kind of thing when it comes to commenting on things online. So if I say that I'm going to do it, though, then I do it.
Jake's a man of his word.
That being said, I know a lot of people were hoping for a writer log for Build. I do still intend to make that. I'm not sure when I'll be putting that out.
It's just not the anniversary thing, because it wouldn't be quite as special.
I wanted to do something new. I was debating it back and forth, and I decided to go for something new.
Yeah.
Just like last year with the writer log.
Where that was something new. It's great to do something new on your anniversaries.
Exactly. Now, one thing schedule-wise that I do want to let you guys know, and I'm going to try and post this on Twitter and Facebook to give people a heads up. We are going to be delaying our live stream, live reaction for Power Rangers this weekend by a day. It's going to be Sunday evening instead of Saturday evening, so for those of you who join us for the live stream, or if you know someone who likes the live stream, spread the word.
Or if you can't usually, but you could on a Sunday.
It's going to be moved to Sunday evening this week, 6 o'clock instead of 7.
Because some people have
work in the morning, and you know, there's a bunch of different time zones. So we figure a little earlier would be a little bit better. So 6 o'clock on Sunday evening will be our live stream reaction to the Power Rangers. I believe that's a Halloween special this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because, as we mentioned in a previous live reaction,
we have a funeral to go to on Friday, and we're going to be traveling back on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we don't want to run into a situation where we travel back and wind up late for our own live stream.
Exactly. Plus, you know, we're going to be exhausted from driving.
Funeraling.
Yeah. Driving several hours there and back, and there's some people we'd also like to
You were going to hit up some people on the way back that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah,
probably for like a couple hours
family.
here and a couple hours there on the way back.
Who we just don't see because they live several hours away.
Yeah, but they happen to be in between us and the funeral, so hitting them on the way back.
So, because we're going to be traveling this weekend, live reactions from Power Rangers, Sunday evening at 6 instead of the usual Saturday at 7.
But it will still be a live stream.
And also that would be the reason that I don't think I'm going to be doing the rider log for this weekend.
Yeah.
That'll probably be...
It's also the reason that I have a fresh haircut.
Yeah.
I did it myself.
That may very well be coming out after the next episode of Power Reviews, which I'm aiming to have done by the end of this month. We shall see.
I'm actually kind of nervous because...
It's going pretty well.
This funeral is going to be the first time that I've actually seen one of my cousins since I was 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she was 5.
Wow. Alright, so that's a quick update on what's been going on, what's going on with the channel, what's going on with us, and upcoming videos.
Apparently her brother hasn't RSVP'd yet whether or not he's coming, so I might be re-meeting 3 people that I have not met since I was 7.
Wow.
And I'm just going to be all like, because I want my family to like me, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But also, it's been so long since I've seen them.
Yeah, of course.
So it's almost like meeting them for the first time again.
Right. So
I got filled up.
I
think I'm weird.
So switching off from somber news of funerals.
Although the cousin likes Comic-Con and anime, so maybe she'll like Sentai too.
Yeah, and so let's watch some Sentai.
Exactly.
There we go.
I found the connection.
There we go. Alright, so time for episode 36 of
Kaitou Sentai Lupinranger.
This is Keisatsu Sentai Patranger. Shoot the bomb.
It's like It's a Bomb, take it up a notch.
Magical
she's
sound.
half Japanese.
Oh, interesting.
In the same way I'm half white.
Seems to be having a little trouble loading the full screen at the moment. What's happening? I can hear people talking.
Yeah, but I can't see subtitles because the video is frozen.
It's pinwheeling.
Well, I know what that was.
Okay, we know that I can hear... My computer is freezing in a way where I can't see the video, but we can still hear the audio. Which would be great if
all
we spoke
see Japanese.
Japanese.
Like this. I wonder if my cousin speaks Japanese. That would be cool. To have someone I could, like, talk to. Like,
I have a pinwheel over the whole screen. I can't do anything. I even try to, like, move into other things.
I mean, I'm sure she speaks Spanish. I never had anyone to practice my Spanish with, except for my father sometimes.
Ooh. Oh, it's not responding. I can't do anything about this. This is a problem. Why is my computer doing this?
I think you've got to close the program.
Oh, no. It crashed. Okay.
It may still be holding the stuff you already played in
what is going on with
in buffer. So let's just try going back to the site and playing it again, because it might, you know what I'm saying?
It's probably not gonna just reload it properly because it never does. But
maybe it will.
One moment. Woo! Okay, so now we're back. We just kind of.
I was leaning over because I thought I was.
No, I wasn't gonna do that. No, sorry. We're not starting over from the beginning. I just had to jump ahead 5 minutes in time there because we had to reload everything and get the buffer going, etc. But now everything seems to be, hopefully, working. So let's try that again with episode 36
of Kaitou Sentai Lupinranger.
This is Keisatsu Sentai Patranger. Shoot the bomb! Okay, magical sound. Full screen. There we go.
What happened is I didn't say the episode name, so.
Yeah. Alright. So the Patrangers were moving in on a gangler. That's what's happening. There we go. Interesting.
I love Japanese action suspenseful music.
Yeah.
It's always like this.
I like how they all came in with their you know, guns trained on the monster, but...
And then immediately put them up like this so they can morph.
Well, mainly the thing I find amusing is just how, like, kind of extra Noel was about it. All the others are like, hoo, 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 and he's like he's holding a fencing saber.
Noel is just extra about everything. Pecker Zeppelini?
Zeppeli?
It looked like Zeppeli. I was thinking like Zeppelin. It was like Zeppelini.
Yeah. Zeppeli.
Speaking of extra.
There you go. Blood. Ooh. Oh, he's doing a quick analysis. Oh, nice. Gonna do a crazy ricochet. Oh, boy, Seki.
Seki-kun!
That was cool. Oh.
Does Sakuya now have, like, terrible luck as a result of being pricked by the red pokey thing?
I have no idea.
I mean, he could just
I know
trip and fall on it.
He just ricocheted right into Keiichiro's gut. Okay, so he thinks that it may be a result of him getting poked with the pokey pokes.
I mean, he did have some
mysterious treasures left by the Phantom Thief, Awesome Lupin, known as the Lupin Collection, have been stolen by the ganglers, the thieves who fight to recover what they've lost, the police who fight to protect world peace. Whose side are you on? Yami no nakade futeki ni wa aru silhouette kono chutai shiretake ya catch me if you can destiny yokoku saru Honto no nuchi wo rikai sumo no dake ni ikari hanatsu mongai fushutsu no collection Lupin Karen maru gonna chase you up Ubakesu ushinai shitoki wo tokasu tame daru mawase Lupin, samete kuru, chase you up, Yatsurani adu, Asayaka ni Lupinranger, it's showdown.
So like I was saying, he did seem to have some pretty improbable aiming skills of his own, so maybe his improbable aiming skills caused the reverse of improbable aiming skills for everybody else?
Maybe.
Improbable screwing up skills?
Oh. I do better with positive reinforcement. Oh. What is this? Random guys? Oh, he's selling charm necklaces. This is
one for him, one for
this is really
Mikasa,
silly and cute.
and one for, oh golly, he's a...
Yep, he's the gangler. Interesting. Home massage.
Increases intelligence.
Oh, interesting. And Toma just nodded.
And so did she, until she realized. Yeah. I guess that means she really is a little dim.
I like how Toma nodded in agreement, and nothing about his expression changed until she actually noticed, and then he looked over and gave her a little side eye with a little smirk. Helps you recover from exhaustion. Wow. That is interesting. That apparently just sucks his anger away. I feel like this is a bad idea, though. You can't remove it, though. Ooh. Keiichiro? Keiichiro, you should keep this necklace. Yeah. Yeah, I see no downsides to this at the moment.
It stops him from flying off the handle.
Okay. Oh, it's a machine to transmit energy. So that must be what he was developing. He was developing.
Okay, so maybe he has his internal ability is to take luck away from other people and give it to himself.
Maybe.
Like, or at least his improbable aiming skills may come from sapping those aiming skills away from other people.
Well, we know that the main thing that the piece does is enhance his intelligence. I think his normal ability is just shooting the spikes.
Right, but I was talking about the spikes being something that takes anger into energy.
Oh, that's the downside to putting it on Keiichiro.
You can blow up on his neck.
Oh, no, it's... Apparently, the bomb is somewhere else. Why do you have those? He cannot get angry now. I'm not seeing a downside to this at the moment. Let's let him take a nap. There we go. Yes, you are. Keiichiro is he is a literal powder keg at the moment.
Also, we have one more necklace.
Yeah.
Wait,
No, she's not wearing it.
I thought she was holding it and I was looking at her.
Oh. Saki doesn't get angry, though.
Like you said.
Yeah. Because shoes are impractical.
What's with those necklaces?
Yeah, he's been giving out the necklaces. There we go.
When you're mad at you or some...
Everybody runs away.
Calm necklace.
Yeah.
That's calms, good sir. Calm. Charm necklace.
I thought charm necklace was misspelled, but yeah, no, I guess calm being misspelled makes sense too. Or maybe it's a deliberate play on words between calm and charm.
Which works only because of the similarity, well, the fact that Japanese does not have an L or an R, but one sound that's in between.
Yeah. Which is really interesting, because you don't, like, growing up with English, you don't think of L and R as being such similar letters.
But they are once you learn how to make that sound.
When you really think about them, they're not.
You do.
They're not that far off in terms of the mouth shapes you're making. You just don't really think about it. It's just slightly different a slightly different positioning of the tongue and your mouth just a little bit more open in one place. Keiichiro, stop. Keiichiro, stop. Zen. Zen man. Zen man.
You really should get Sakuya away from him.
Why is Noel still here? Or did he just figure something out? The slip-up attack is his basic thing. It looks like... I think it's mostly just that he I don't think his spikes sap anything, but I think they just make people clumsy. Oh. It's like, yeah. You know, he's so upset.
Keiichiro, I don't think realized until just that moment when he kind of turned around a little that Sakuya already feels terrible.
Yeah.
Because he's always so happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Keiichiro is now, just now, understanding.
Stop that bomb! Shoot the bomb! I'm not sure if that makes things better to shoot a bomb. Generally, I could see that going poorly. Nice fight.
Yeah, that was an interesting move there, grabbing Red's leg and kind of pushing him over like that. I like that. He caught the kick and turned it back on him.
Okay.
Yeah, now he can't make no more calm necklaces.
There we go.
Card necklace.
Yeah.
Card
necklace.
necklace.
Nice. It's a mini
That sound, kind of.
card. That's what I'm just not making it sound fancy. I'm still saying the same word you are. Card.
Well, actually, I'm not saying card.
Oh, you're trying to do the car?
With the W.
Oh, okay, so you're trying to do the car.
The in between.
Oh, she's
R
trying to
and
stop
L
them from... Wow, that's a twist. She's actually stopping them from finishing them off for once. I gotta figure out where the bomb is.
Oh my frick.
That is not the right way to inform a crowd, generally speaking.
Also, they're all now wearing the necklaces.
And
they're all panicking, getting upset with each other.
Yeah, that's not how you Keiichiro. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. He's just icing himself down. This is very silly. I feel like that did not... Yeah. Hey! Okay. Yeah, you could have just told them that without being so aggressive towards them. Yeah, the thing. Where stop focusing on your guilt and focus on figuring out where the bomb can be.
It's not very perfect.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna make them. They're gonna do a deflection. There we go. She's gonna use blade. There we go. Nice. He does not know any of the principles anymore. There you go. It's in the tower. Yes, he did. Good. Good job. There it is. It's the very bomb-shaped thing.
Look, they had no way of finding it previously. It's a very small, very bomb-shaped thing.
Yeah, I know. It's just convenient that it was something that they were able to spot with the binoculars.
That whole tower is CG. That's adorable.
Yeah, a little bit. Gotta do a sharpshoot. Shoot the bomb! It's a bomb!
That is his specialty.
Apparently.
It was mentioned earlier, and it has been mentioned before, that he's essentially the sniper.
Yeah.
I say essentially because they never use the word sniper.
Affectionate head tap. You need to have some confidence, man.
If you poop all over you, other people will poop all over you too.
Sure, that's one way to put it.
I am using that because I can't say the S word that would make a lot more sense in that sentence.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, to be fair, probably one of the Lupinranger things. Lupinranger power-ups would probably work.
Lupinrangers aren't there.
True. Really? Bike? That does not seem like a super targeted attack.
I think it might be what makes that thing able to shoot that far.
Fair enough.
Because, I mean, a pistol wouldn't get you that far. It doesn't have a rifle.
Yeah, why are you surprised that they're helping you? They always help you. They help you every time. Like,
why are all their weapons going?
Because it's stylistic. Correction. They help you, once they have the collection piece, they've never shown any problems with helping you. Why are you constantly surprised by this? Okay, now he no longer has the slip up spell, so he's good.
What's interesting is that he doesn't necessarily know that.
Right. Sort of a magic feather inversion. Nice. Good job. Good job.
Good job.
There we go.
Thank you.
Positive reinforcement. He's so thrilled by having a positive reinforcement. Okay, there we go. There we go. Nice. That's cute.
Hey!
Doobie doobies. She was looking forward to seeing the rage bomb. Nice.
Make Pecker feel better.
There we go. Suppose you could call that chemical reaction.
Forgot to put on eyeliner.
Hey, Magnum.
But I haven't asked it.
Ooh, let's see how this combo may work. We haven't seen Magnum combine with anything yet.
cut my ear.
Oh, cool. Okay, so his arms can fold back to be swapped off with any of the other arms. That's fun.
Wait. They're down there.
Yeah, because Lupin Magnum, as we've established, is an independent it's an independent sword. Yeah, no, Lupin Magnum's too good for that. Why is the bomb giant? Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, nice, because it's a dial fighter. Lupin Magnum counts as a dial fighter. Oh, man. Hope you like outer space. Whee! That's delightful. Giant gun time.
Giant gun time. Boom! That's very, SPD.
Yes.
That's very Deca Ranger.
Yes.
Deca Ranger.
Yeah. There we go. Good job. Hey. They blew up the guy in space. Okay, now you're going to be overbearing, aren't you?
Hey.
Don't let it go. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Don't let it go to your head.
I just love how Tsukasa is like, yeah.
We know. Senior who trusts his junior. What? A junior who looks up to his senior. What a lovely workplace there. Oh no. He still has slip-ups.
I give up. I have to believe that it's a direct translation of something which is a little bit more like uncle. This beam forces your butt home?
Interesting. The place you call home. Interesting. Weird.
Oh, I see. They don't want their identities given away by where they go back to.
Right.
So the Lupinrangers have to sleep in tents.
Interesting. Oh, sorry, Frankie.
But then again, the Patrangers have tents too.
I have no clue what's going on with the tents.
Because I'm pretty sure that's a tent on Keisuro's back right there.
Yep.
So maybe what are they doing? Setting up tents in the area of the fight so they don't have as far to go back?
I don't know. Maybe. It looks either way like it's going to be pretty intense.
You do that while I'm drinking?
Yes, I did. I did that.
My husband is a jerk.
Sometimes. Alright, so yeah, this was a sort of cute little silly episode. I'm still continually like
mystified at how the Rangers can be so freaking surprised.
Every time that the Lupinrangers help them, they're surprised. Like,
have you not noticed the pattern yet?
Like,
have you?
Every time they're surprised. This has happened like 20 times now.
In a row.
Like, yeah, the Lupinrangers don't always help them, but if they're there and you need help, they always help you. They just get the collection piece first. Once they have the collection piece,
they're all about, getting rid of that gangler.
Yeah, they're gonna help you. But every time. Also, apparently, the astromorpher is the thing that makes you smarter. So that's pretty cool. It wasn't the actual Astromorpher prop, I think, though. It looked a little smaller. It looked like a shrunk-down Astromorpher prop, which was interesting. It wasn't repainted or anything.
Where's the toy?
I think the toy is still a little larger than that. Because it was only like that big.
Oh, okay. Because some of the toys are smaller than...
Yeah.
And some of them are the right size.
But, like you know...
The Mystic Morpher is the right size.
Yeah, but, like, the Astromorpher, like, that thing, you know, it has buttons on it and everything.
Although, as far as I know, the Mystic Morpher is actually the toy.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of times they are. To my knowledge, a lot of times the morphers are basically the toys that they sell in Japan. And sometimes here, depending upon whether the molds are the same or not, etc. I think there might be some scaling differences occasionally, but for the most part...
I think oftentimes our toy is smaller than their toy,
yeah.
where their toy is the right size.
Yeah, I believe so.
But I also believe that in a lot of the Power Rangers, the prop they use for the morphers is in fact a Japanese toy.
Yeah, probably.
Because the Japanese toys are the right size.
Yeah.
But then again, sometimes they're not, because we decide to use a completely different morpher.
Yeah, sometimes. In which case, they're awkward.
Like the sunglasses from Jungle Fury.
And the toy didn't even look like the ones they actually used in the show, either.
Yeah.
It just made it extra silly.
Plus, you know, no adult could actually get those sunglasses on their head.
Yeah. Or not comfortably, at least. So, let's see. As far as...
Legacy Collection, get on it. Jungle Fury sunglasses you can actually wear when you're not a child.
So it was cool to see a few new abilities for Lupin Magnum.
Yeah, that was like, wow.
So apparently it can combine with other Zords, which we didn't know about before, but seems reasonable. Despite the fact that it's a little smaller than the others. I didn't think it was necessarily going to be quite so compatible, but I guess it is. And the fact that it can function as a dial fighter for cracking open a safe was also something we didn't know about.
That was awesome.
That was pretty nice.
That was really cool.
The bomb was also a lot larger than I realized.
It's a bomb!
That was apparently a very large bomb. We had no sense of scale because they were never actually near it. But once they were actually holding it as Pat guys, I'm like, that's a really large bomb.
Yeah.
That is an awkwardly large bomb. No wonder they could spot it with a set of binoculars.
They still weren't going to find that from the search they were doing.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was way up a tower, and...
Yeah, they just didn't know where to look.
They were clearly searching places that were a little bit more accessible by foot.
Right, exactly.
Whereas, I don't... Like, that tower, the way it was built, looks like to get at that particular area, you would probably need a special rig.
Yeah, or something.
Like,
I don't know.
The people who do repairs are probably dropping down from higher in the tower on, like, a window washer rig.
Something like that.
Not the kind with the stand, but the kind where the window washer is just on a rope.
I know what you mean.
In a little, like, seat.
Yeah.
Like in that video where the one has the squeegee and the cat is following it.
I also wonder if they were able to just remove the necklaces, like, once the monster was destroyed, or if everybody's just going to be always wearing those necklaces now. I'm assuming that they deactivated once the monster was destroyed.
I'm incredibly surprised that at no point did anyone try wire cutters.
Yeah, that seems like... Because it wasn't like they were
They were trying to
magical,
pull it off.
They
were trying
inventions.
to unclasp it, but at no point did anyone get a simple pair of wire cutters out.
Yeah.
It's like, so if you happen to have, say for example, something that is made out of a heavy-duty tensile, cable around your neck, get some flippin' wire cutters.
Yeah, some bolt cutters even. If you want to really, go crazy.
Get some bolt cutters. It wasn't magic.
Yeah. I mean, it was a weird kind of technology, but it was explicitly
You're the police.
technology.
Certainly you have bolt cutters.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime you need to, like, crack open, a padlock or whatever.
Exactly.
When it comes up.
If you could cut a padlock, you can cut that tensile, that high tension, not high tension, high...
Tensile strength.
Tensile strength cable.
Yeah.
You can cut aircraft cable with...
yeah, exactly. I've cut plenty of aircraft cable.
With bolt cutters.
It's not that difficult.
It's not that hard.
Yeah. Especially if you've got good leverage. Good-sized bolt cutters are like, this long.
Now you have to explain to them why you've had occasion to cut airline cable.
Do I, though? I feel like I don't. I mean, I could, but I feel like I don't actually need to explain that.
You're such a troll. No, you're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it's used a lot in theater rigging. That's the reason why.
Because you want your stuff that you're hanging in theater.
Yeah, if you're going to be holding stuff above actors' heads, you generally want it to be well supported. So let's see. I find it interesting that he got that Sakuya ended up wearing one of the charm bracelets, charm necklaces. It was still charm, so I'm pronouncing charm.
I'm going to pronounce it like a Japanese person would pronounce letters R or L because they don't have letters R or L, which is why they probably misspelled it there, because it makes very little difference to them which letter is there. Which is why when people try and make fun of Asian people by switching their R and their L, they're not getting it right, because they don't actually switch them, they just happen to have a sound that's in between.
But my point on pronouncing it charm is you Romanized it. So you made a choice on which letter to use. Rather than the word that actually exists in the English language, you chose a different letter. So it's not the same word. It's karma. I think that's a reasonable justification for pronouncing it that way.
I think it's probably just a misspelling.
It could be a misspelling. I think it's a blend of calm and charm.
And that's why you're saying charm.
Yep. It's like a charm necklace, but it's a calming necklace. It's a charm necklace. It's a calming charm necklace.
Patranger.
Yeah.
It's not Patranger. It's Patranger.
Yeah, I know.
Lupinranger.
Yeah, I know.
The R isn't really an R.
I mean, it is, but it also isn't.
That's what I'm saying. It's a sound that's in between, that we don't have in our language.
Well, the thing is that I'm fairly certain they're borrowing the actual word ranger. So, I mean, technically when they write it out, they're writing it out in Japanese, in Japanese characters, which don't have an R.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it kind of doesn't, but it's kind of still supposed to be ranger, because I believe they're borrowing the English word ranger.
Oh, they're definitely borrowing the English.
So
it's just like the...
So that's why it's still...
lyrics,
that's why it's Lupinranger and Patranger, even though they don't pronounce it that way.
But here's the thing.
I think is the intention.
The lyrics
to
the song, at one point there is something that's romanized as raito.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's light.
Yeah, I know. That's a very strange romanization, and I'm not quite sure why. Because
that's how they're pronouncing it.
Okay, so they're going for phonetics on those particular aspects. Oh yeah, because this is all
right.
Oh, that's right. Because for here, they're doing phonetics for everything on the lyrics.
Yes.
So it does make sense they'd use the phonetics of the song itself rather than the phonetics of the word they're borrowing. That's fair.
That's it, and that's fake. That means fake.
Yeah.
See, when they do the capital letters in the transliteration,
yeah, I know.
You know that's a and this is silhouette.
Yeah, it's a borrowed word.
And that's collection.
That's actually I do say silhouette when I'm in collection when I'm doing it.
But if you do say silhouette, you're short a syllable.
Only a little.
You're short a syllable.
I'm okay. I'm cool with it.
Because the lyrics have silhouette. That's an extra syllable, the O on the end.
Yeah, but it's a kind of a soft O. They don't really emphasize it. I've noticed.
Yeah, it's like
it's silhouette. Yeah, but it's just a little extra punch at the end.
Silhouette.
But yeah, there's not really too much to dig into this with this one. We didn't really get too much new stuff on any of the characters.
That wouldn't work.
Well, it works.
Because the word is pocket, but they've
You could also do pocket carniche. If you're still keeping with the meter, it still works.
Yeah, you'd have to skip a syllable.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You might end up skipping a syllable.
And I'm okay with that. As long as I'm keeping with the meter, I'm cool with that.
I learned most of my Japanese from singing.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why it matters a lot to me what the romanization is because if you don't follow the romanization, even though it's a mispronunciation of the English word, you can wind up off meter.
Yep. And I do actually use their version of dial just because it's so different from the actual word dial. Diaru is very different from dial.
Dial, diaru.
Like, we have basically one syllable, they have like 3.
Yeah, that's why you have to use the romanization.
I mean, dial is, I guess, 2 syllables, but it's
dial,
barely. Yeah.
But if you live in New York, it's just 1 syllable because of the different...
Yeah, we just go dial.
Because
Nile.
In certain parts of the English-speaking word, certain syllables get run together.
Yeah.
And we live in one of those places.
Yeah, a little bit.
One of those places where I get made fun of for saying mayonnaise, because apparently it's just mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And that's where the name came from.
Yep.
There's an O in it!
Yeah, still no plot happening. Doesn't look like we're getting plot next time, unless, like, the tense thing is going to lead to plot somehow, but...
I feel like it might lead to a little bit of the Department of Backstory, because it'd be interesting to see what each of them actually considers home, because it says it takes you to the place you consider home, which means it's probably not actually going to take the Lupinrangers back to Juror.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that all works.
Which might be why they had a tent in the Juror place, because they needed to try and find some way to, like...
Everything involving the tent... I'm very curious to see what the deal is with the tents next week. Because that looks like a very strange premise. Whatever's happening.
The thing of it is that, like...
I will give them credit for constantly coming up with different wacky things for the Ganglers to do to them. Like, that is when the...
It kicks your behind all the way back to where you consider home.
Like, that's one of the things that you do kind of need.
Patrangers should just send them back to their apartments.
Yeah. I will say, that's one of the things that you do kind of need for a good...
Dude, could Noelle be kicked all the way back to France?
I have no idea. For a good filler-style season, is you do need to have strong monster premises, which this show pretty consistently does. They do go pretty wacky, but they're creative and they
Noelle
drive
might get kicked all the way back to France.
He might get kicked all the way back to France. Who knows? We'll see. And then he spends the whole rest of the episode driving trains back from France.
Yeah, his trains. They probably go faster than real trains.
Yeah. But that's we'll see. We'll see how they handle that next week. But yeah,
well, maybe that's why there was a tent in the Juror lobby there.
Yeah.
The first thing was his attempt to reestablish
I know, it was
home.
a red tent. That suggests it's either Kyrie's or Keiichiro's.
Fair enough. Well, why would Keiichiro put his tent in Juror?
I have no idea.
The
episode is next week. I have no idea what any of the things in the preview are happening.
I kind of want to see this episode, like, now, because
it's
I'm really
next week.
confused
We'll watch it next week.
about this tent thing.
So what I was saying regarding episodes like the one we watched today...
which is also filler. I'm pretty sure they're all going to be filler.
Yeah, I know. When you compare it to, like, Ninja Storm, which was a very filler-heavy Power Rangers season... And they did that by having very, they have wacky monsters with wacky premises that do
wacky things to the Rangers.
Yeah, they drive, creative one-and-done plots. If you have just standardized monster plots, like,
you're gonna get real bored.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to have, if you're gonna have standardized monsters, you need to have an overarching plot.
Yeah, you need to have, in a season like this, you need to have creative monsters of the day, and you also need to have very dynamic personalities.
We've got that.
Yeah.
We've got that in spades.
Those are really the two
I would love
things.
to see some more backstory on these characters, because I feel like they're not like, overly fleshed out, but they are certainly incredibly dynamic and individualized. They all have distinct personalities. They just don't have much depth.
Yeah. So
however, we do see some depth now and then, usually when we're talking about, like, trips to the Department of Backstory, which is why I'm kind of hoping that maybe next week's thing with the home might give us some more trips to the Department of Backstory, or just a little bit more depth, because I find myself hungering for more depth for these characters, because I find them very interesting.
Like, when we mentioned how we like Go Busters, but Go Busters was not one that, you know, I think those I don't think that those characters were quite as well suited for filler type episodes.
No, they weren't.
Including the nature of the monsters as well.
Right. No, that was definitely driven by its overarching plot.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because despite not being very distinct from one another, they actually had more depth, because they spent a lot of time in their whole, you know, family tragedies, losing their family kind of business.
That one was a very, it was strongly thematically driven. Which
shows that, you know, you can have characters that are cool in more than one way. A character doesn't have to be a deep character. It can be a shallow character with some really cool personality traits that make them interesting, or it can be a less effusive, more sort of normal-ish person who has a really cool backstory.
I think the other thing that makes this work as a fillery type season is the lower stakes.
Yeah.
If you have stakes that are too high, then any filler type episode...
The stakes are too high!
If there's any filler type episode, it just frustrates you, because you keep feeling like there's more important things for them to be tending to. That was one of the reasons that I feel like Kyuranger...
My name is Vermin Supreme, and I say that the stakes are too high!
Okay. But like Kyuranger, for instance, anytime that we were getting like a filler episode, we're like, yeah, you know, the entire universe has been conquered. I feel like we should be focusing on something else at the moment.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Now, they didn't have that much of it. They did keep, you know, moving things forward. We just were never quite sure where they were going until something, you know, was well developed underway. Because that was one where they had such a monumental task in front of them that we were just always curious for what the next step towards accomplishing that was going to be.
Yeah.
Like here, it's, okay, we know that it's going to be collecting all the pieces. We're not curious about that. Instead the curiosity is going to be, oh, what's the piece going to do this time? Which is what keeps things
And also, in the beginning,
creative.
when we first meet the monster, trying to suss out what's their ability versus what's their piece's ability.
Yeah. The fact that every monster has two abilities...
is kind of cool.
Yeah, that really does make things rather dynamic in terms of dealing with the monsters of the day.
Although we usually find out in like the first 5 minutes after meeting the monster which one is which, it's still fun to speculate during those first 5 minutes.
And you know, the application of those two abilities is usually fun.
And sometimes they synergize well.
Yeah, like we've had plenty of other, you know, monsters of the day in the past, you know, prior to this season.
I still want to know what's up with their binoculars.
Where sometimes it'll just be, okay, it's just a generic monster, they're just someone they fight.
Yep.
Or maybe the monster has an ability, or maybe it has the ability to cast a spell. But specifically having two abilities that may or may not be spell-oriented every time makes the monsters more dynamic.
It does.
Like, if you think back to...
I'd be like,
you know,
you may
year,
have taken my Lupin collection piece, but I still have my ability.
Yeah, if you think
or
back
you've
to,
only seen what my ability is. Let me show you what my Lupin collection piece can do.
Yeah, if you think back to Kyuranger last year, like, the monsters themselves were not particularly memorable.
No.
The villains were fun, were good. We had plenty of good villains.
But the monsters of the week were not exactly.
Monsters of the week were not super memorable.
And some of them
although
made very little sense at all. So why are you having everyone do aerobics? This doesn't even make sense.
I will admit, one of the nice things that they did do with the monsters last season was having the monsters be rulers of their own little domains and having different ways of torturing their citizens. That was the way in which they kept those monsters creative, which I did find interesting.
Found it interesting, but sometimes it was also just like, it seems to me like you're just doing this for the purposes of torture. You have no greater plan here, and I feel like you should have a greater plan here.
Well, they didn't need one. They'd already won. What were they going to accomplish? Conquering them again?
Well, while they had them conquered, rather than just torturing them, they could have, like, some of the monsters were putting their populace to work, doing something that made the monster's life more enjoyable, and some of them were just screwing with them.
Yeah, which also made the monster's life more enjoyable.
I feel like they could have made more productive use of their slave citizens.
I guess. I don't know. I liked the different applications of evil, even though we did not get necessarily, even if that didn't make for a lot of necessarily dynamic and memorable monsters, at least that we did get a few interesting applications of them using their power, which was nice. Not their special powers, but their power over their populace.
Yes.
Which was different from what we've seen before.
I think I have little hair bits from where I trimmed.
Oh, I'm sorry, so that's our...
I showered after I trimmed, but I still have itchy.
Yeah, that'll happen. So I think we've probably dug enough into this episode and the nature of filler seasons, which Lupinranger vs.
Definitely
Patranger
a filler season.
has very much established itself as such. That is their bread and butter. They are going for
if you put
heavy
versus in the name, it's probably going to be kind of fillery. I mean, like Batman versus Superman or Alien versus Predator.
Yes and no. Honestly, with the idea of there being two competing Ranger teams, I was expecting those two competing Ranger teams to have their own agendas that were going to,
conflict.
That were going to conflict and overlap and intertwine, and you'd have two running parallel plot lines, along with the combined plot lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not really expecting it to be necessarily a heavy filler season, just because it's like, well, you have twice the Ranger teams, you'd think you get twice the story, but I guess they decided to go the opposite direction on that.
Yeah, no, I definitely get the feeling it's a little bit more like Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
Where the Alien, like those versus movies, Alien versus Predator and Batman versus Superman, do very little to advance the plot of either of the two stories they're involved in.
Well, yes and no. I think it's less that they do little to advance the plot, and more so just that you're just there to watch them fight, and the plot does not necessarily matter or make sense.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you go
There's still plenty of plot in those things. They just don't necessarily matter or make sense.
No, I mean, they don't advance the plot of their respective franchises. Like, the Alien series has sort of an ongoing plot, but Alien vs. Predator has almost no bearing on that plot. Nor does it have any real bearing on the plot of the Predator series.
Well, when it comes to that, to my knowledge, those series had both kind of, I think...
We just had another Predator movie.
Yeah, I know. And they basically...
I went to see it with my dad.
Didn't they basically reboot things?
No.
More or less, no? It was a continuation of stuff? I didn't even know there were really continuations for that. I thought it was just more of the same kind of adventures.
No, it was definitely a continuation.
Yeah. Well, I know
and it even acknowledged that there had been a crossover between Alien
and I will say this, Batman v Superman, which I have not seen, but by all reports, was not a great movie.
No.
A lot of stuff apparently happened in that movie. They did introduce Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, I believe, had a cameo. I think Doomsday was in... There was a lot of stuff that happened in that movie that did...
They actually did Alien vs. Predator.
There was a lot of story
Predator
stuff
too.
happening in that movie.
But the new Predator, it's not so much a reboot as something that takes place a lot later.
Right.
And the other ones were a lot more running around the woods. Yeah. And this one was a bit more...
Urban?
Well, yeah, it was a little bit more urban, and it was also a little bit more, the government is actually involved, as opposed to just soldiers running around the woods trying to survive. The government is now quite aware that there are predators, and is investigating them and stuff.
But my point is that, I feel like it's less that, versus movies a movie is different from a TV show. And two, versus movies, well,
the whole point of a versus movie is just to put the two things together and see who wins.
They still try to have plot progression. They just don't tend to usually go very well.
Which, by the way, if you put aliens and predators together, predators win. Who won Superman versus Batman?
I think we all lost. If I remember correctly. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I'm only going. I know the plot of it. I know enough to know the ending. I'm not going to spoil anyone who wants to watch it. I've heard that it's not a great movie. I know some people really like it. Cool. It's just, honestly, I saw the trailers and I laughed because it seemed like it was really like silly dark. I'm Batman. It's like.
I still think the best Batman is Batman the Animated Series.
Well, that's pretty much everyone agrees on that. That's pretty universal.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Like, everybody knows Mark Hamill is the best Joker. That's not really up for debate.
Not even just that, but also Batman himself is just a cooler character in that.
And Kevin Conroy just nails Batman. He's perfect.
And he's just, I don't know, he seems kind of like a sociopath in a lot of the movies, but in the thing, he's actually someone who is trying to make the world a better place. Like, I just keep coming back to that whole bit that one time where Harley Quinn had a horrible day and she wound up back in prison again and he brought her the dress she'd been trying to steal.
Aww.
And he was just like...
He knows that his villains are broken.
Yeah, exactly. Animated Batman knows that his villains are broken and has sympathy for them.
Alright. So, try and wrap this up for like the last 20 minutes.
Sorry.
Because I've got schoolwork to do and it's late.
My phone just died.
Okay. So until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.
Who would win in a fight? Wonder Woman or Aquaman?
Oh, Flashpoint.